Tonight on CTV News, shots fired at a Surrey restaurant.
Anytime something like this happens, you know, it's shocking. It's something that is undoubtedly traumatizing.
Riddled with bullets, a restaurant owned by an Indian celebrity. Was extortion or politics motivating the violence?
It's easier to deal with, so it just makes everything a lot simpler.
City Council looks into subdividing lots so people can buy and sell laneway homes. Will it help with affordability?
I pulled out my knife and my bear spray and I started yelling.
Come on! I just got attacked by a cougar.
Wild wilderness ordeal, a terrifying encounter with two animals, how the stranded hiker survived for days.
This is CTV News with me, Jung Lee.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin in Surrey, where shots were fired at a cafe overnight owned by a famous South Asian actor. The CTV's Yasmin Gandam reports is creating more fear in the South Asian community that has been rocked by similar attacks.
10 shots fired from a vehicle at Cap's Cafe in Surrey overnight. The brazen violence captured in this video circulating on social media. Just days after South Asian celebrity Kapil Sharma and his wife opened the cafe in Newton.
It's shocking. It's something that is undoubtedly traumatizing.
The shooting happened just after 2 Thursday morning when staff were still inside. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Investigators on scene throughout the day canvassing for clues. Several bullet holes visible in the windows as well as shattered glass. News outlets in India reporting that a Khalistani separatist leader has claimed responsibility.
Often in these investigations and incidents like this, people come forward on social media wanting to take credit very quickly for it, but we obviously have to let the evidence guide our investigation.
The Bollywood star hosts the Kapil Sharma show, with each episode racking up millions of viewers. The local Sikh community say pointing fingers is dangerous, with many already on edge.
People are concerned that Sikhs are getting blamed for no reason.
Gurpreet Singh Sahota is a South Asian radio host. He claims the reports are part of an Indian government misinformation campaign targeting Sikh separatists. The shooting at Sharma's restaurant is reminiscent of other South Asian stars being targeted here.
A couple of years ago, Karan Aujla's house in Abbotsford shot. Then later on, North Vancouver, Gippy Garewal and other stars' house had shot. And then in Victoria, AP Dillon's house had shot. And Lawrence Bishnoi gang took responsibility.
A gang the premier wants declared a terrorist organization. It comes as police say there have been 19 extortion attempts reported to them this year alone, many targeting Surrey's South Asian community.
At this time, there's been no link made to any ongoing or past or present extortions, but it's not something that we've ruled out.
Police say the investigation is in the early stages and they will now be reviewing CCTV video and work to find a suspect. Yasmin Gandam, CTV News, Surrey.
We have breaking news on U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff tirade. He has just posted an open letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney on social media, announcing that as of August 1st, there will be a 35% tariff on all Canadian goods. It comes one day after Trump announced a 50% tariff on copper and as Ottawa races to meet its 21st deadline to ink a Canada-U.S. trade deal. Before this latest threat, Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand said she believes an agreement will be reached. Trade experts are doubtful and argue Ottawa needs to buy time to expand other trading partnerships. Minister Anand is in Malaysia right now, pushing to get a free trade deal with 10 Southeast Asian nations. More than 100 people packed a Kelowna courtroom today, showing support for Bailey McCourt as her accused killer made his first appearance. Outside court, supporters held signs for McCourt, who was fatally attacked just hours after her ex-husband, James Plover, was convicted in a domestic violence case and released from custody. The same day, McCourt was attacked with a hammer in a parking lot. She died in hospital. Another woman was also injured. Plover appeared by video from jail today, charged with second-degree murder. The case has renewed calls for bail reform in Ottawa.
This type of violence is certainly unacceptable, period, full stop. And part of the campaign promise was to come up with new reforms to make it more difficult for repeat offenders to get out on bail. So that effort will start in September, I believe, when we get back.
Plover remains in custody until his next court date in September. The number of people infected with measles keeps climbing in BC. More than 100 cases are now confirmed since the beginning of the year. 10 people have been hospitalized. Health officials are urging everyone to check on their vaccination status as summer travel ramps up. CTV's Penny Daflos with what we know and whether Alberta's soaring infections are cause for concern.
As most British Columbians relax over summer break, doctors are watching to see if patients with flu-like symptoms develop a distinctive rash.
Measles is an extremely contagious virus.
Health officials gave an update on the spread in our province with 102 confirmed infections and 10 people having been hospitalized with severe symptoms. Most cases have been in northern BC in unvaccinated people, and now they're reaching out to those who could be next.
Starting with a kind of selected community in the northeast area that's most affected at risk right now, and then organizing the outreach, including immunization clinics.
The province also texted 31,000 people whose vaccination status against measles is unclear, with hundreds choosing to immunize themselves.
They're very concerned about his disease that we thought we had eradicated through safe and effective vaccines.
This family doctor has teenage patients who are rejecting their parents' anti-vax upbringing.
I think it's a great part of youth rebellion to make sure that your vaccination is up to date.
While BC cases are low, Alberta has more than 1,200.
This is a public health emergency. It is a huge concern that we have unmitigated spread of a virus that is easily preventable.
The province has the most infections per capita in North America and just hosted several big events.
I would doubt we would see something that big, because that's actually very significant, like you described, what's happening in Alberta. Time will tell, but we don't have that level of concern. But we are, of course, concerned it's measles.
Symptoms can last 10 to 21 days, and complications will send 1 in 10 to hospital. Qualified experts insist the best approach is prevention through vaccines and urge people to ignore misinformation and home remedies promoted online.
It is absolutely vital that we pay attention and that we follow that expert evidence-based policy and decision-making, the guidance that is provided to us.
Vaccines are free in BC and available through doctors and pharmacists. Penny Daflos, CTV News, Vancouver.
A warning now about our next story. We have more on an investigation that revealed the failures by authorities to protect 3 young BC children who suffered disturbing neglect. There are growing calls for an overhaul of our province's child protection system. CTV's Michelle Bernaro has the details.
It's cases like this one involving 3 children described by relatives as feral when they first came into care that reveal not just the cracks, but what critics call the complete failures in BC's child welfare system.
I've asked over and over and over again, who's going to be held responsible for what's happened to these kids?
Despite repeated calls to social services, it was only when the children's parents contacted the ministry themselves in December 2023 that the siblings were finally taken into care. Relatives who can't be identified to protect the children say the kids were nonverbal, not potty trained, and eating their own feces after being severely neglected and locked in their rooms daily. The haunting question now, could ministry mistakes lead to a similar tragedy?
Based on the additional checks and balances that have been established and the expectations, I would say no, it is much less likely that that would happen now. The caveat being it's also dependent upon staff being able to follow through.
And staffing levels remain a big concern for the representative for children and youth, who says BC is short hundreds of social workers.
There are significant vacancies around the province, and it's not that there is an effort being made to recruit people.
The Minister of Children and Family Development was not available for an interview, but said in a statement that despite global shortages, shortages. They have seen an almost 20% increase in frontline staffing in the last 2 years, but that they recognize there's more work to be done. The representative continues to believe BC's child protection system needs an overhaul and must shift its focus to prevention.
The system right now is very siloed. People are not communicating, they're not collaborating. We shouldn't be walking people to the ledge. We should be walking people to a better outcome.
But she says there have been improvements. For example, in the case of these siblings, repeated calls to authorities were not looked at as a whole, but rather in isolation.
Now, when there's more than one call within a certain period of time or multiple calls, then it's required to go up from the frontline worker to a team leader for further review.
The minister agrees significant change is needed. We are working toward a renewed model of child well-being that focuses on prevention, care, and supporting families before they find themselves in crisis. Meanwhile, the guardian of these children was supported through the representative's office as she fought to get these kids support. But she says they still face lifelong damage from severe neglect.
There's still some really hard days. Every day can still be hard.
And despite changes by the ministry, she worries other children may continue to slip through the cracks of a system she says is broken. Michelle Bernoro, CTV News, Vancouver.
It was a promise made by the federal Liberals 4 years ago to implement $10 a day childcare across the country by 2026. Well, a new report shows Ottawa is set to miss that deadline, and the data also shows Metro Vancouver is home to some of the most expensive daycare nationwide. CTV's Craig Krause has the story.
Finding childcare is easier said than done for many parents in parts of BC.
I'm a little bit upset that there's not more affordable options.
Options once promised back in 2021 to cost $10 a day, a price Crystal Gortz has yet to see, facing a wait list of 2 years.
$750 a month for daycare, which increases to $1,100 during the summer months.
Losing out on hundreds of dollars every month, and she's not alone. A report from the left-leaning think tank Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives shows the country is expected to miss its 2026 deadline to implement $10 a day childcare nationwide. Only 6 provinces and territories are meeting that fee target. BC, not one of them.
In places like Richmond or Surrey, we're continuing to see really quite high fees in the $30, $40 a day range.
The highest in the country, although McDonald says Vancouver, due in part to nonprofits and more rapid expansion of the program, has about half of the spaces being $10, a disparity that the BC Conservatives are calling on Premier David Eby to address.
This $10 a day promise is really an unattainable fantasy.
The BC childcare critic urging the province to remove the necessary red tape for childcare providers to increase spaces.
Let's be transparent with the public. Let's go back to the drawing table and rework this. It's a great idea.
In a statement, Lisa Baer, the Minister of Education for Childcare, says the previous government let the cost of childcare rise 3 times higher than the rate of inflation, canceled the $14 a day program, and cut subsidies. Baer notes the NDP has delivered 17,000 $10 spaces and is on track to meet next year's target of 20,000. In the meantime, parents are left waiting for that relief.
What's next for you and your family?
Well, I don't know because I'm having a really hard time getting ahead.
Craig Crow, CTV News, Vancouver.
The City of Vancouver is looking at providing more options for home ownership. It's exploring the idea of allowing the subdivision of single-family lots so someone can just buy a laneway home. But as CTV's Isabella Zaffarisi reports, the plan might not address affordability.
This is one of the first laneway homes in North Vancouver, built in 2010 in the backyard of a Kuashot's in-laws house.
I've had 2 kids in this time, and having grandparents nearby has been a real gift. And it's also been increasingly helpful for us to be supporting them as they're aging.
It's a living arrangement that's enriched the family, but has had its challenges.
We were hoping that strata titling would come into place just to help to ease some some of the legal and financial barriers that we were facing trying to create a co-ownership model that worked.
While that still hasn't happened for Shots, the City of Vancouver is looking at stratifying and subdividing laneway home lots to create more options for home ownership.
It's really a way to look forward on how we actually use land within our residential neighborhoods. Laneway houses are incredibly popular.
There are about 6,000 of these homes, according to the city. Those in the industry say clients have been asking for this for years.
Say you're a family, and if you're able to separate these into 2 strata units, then your kid can get their own mortgage. They can sell the house if they need to. When it's time to inherit the property, it's easier to deal with. So it just makes everything a lot simpler.
While it may provide a path to owning a home, some say it's not likely to address affordability.
I think some concerns around speculation, around does this create the latest and newest investment vehicle in Vancouver real estate?
Those who support the move think it provides options for those trying to get into the market.
Not only families, but individuals explore housing options in their neighborhoods that would include laneway homes that they could age in place in and own outright, or it could be a starter home for a new couple too.
The staff report is expected to come back in the fall or early next year. Isabella Zavarisi, CTV News, Vancouver.
Even as the federal government has ordered the removal of open net salmon farms on the BC coast by 2029, the debate between the industry and its opponents rages on. CTV's Ben Milger has more on what both sides want to hear from the new fisheries minister in Mark Carney's cabinet.
In a bid to protect wild salmon stocks, the feds have ordered open net fish farms out of BC waters over the next 4 years. But industry advocates are pointing to this review, saying it tells a different story about the impact the farms have on wild fish.
Shutting down salmon farms will have no detectable effect on wild salmon populations. And so, we're not the decision makers, but certainly my recommendation would be to revisit this.
For years, advocates and opponents of fish farms have presented wildly different takes on similar science and studies. So it's no surprise the industry is lined up behind this one. With a new prime minister in office since the ban was announced, BC salmon farmers hope the feds will reconsider.
We're hoping to get our message to Carney that there is a significant opportunity here to expand salmon farming and have it be a very sustainable food-producing sector that boosts the economy in Canada.
The First Nations Wild Salmon Alliance has been leading the charge against the salmon farming industry in BC for years.
I think that they're in a desperate state right now with the ban being already announced for 2029. We can expect these opinion pieces to come out because as I understand it, this is not new science.
Neither the salmon farmers nor the Wild Salmon Alliance have had a chance to meet with new Fisheries and Oceans Minister Joanne Thompson, and neither side has any idea whether she plans to revisit the open net fish farm ban.
We're all on the edge of our seat waiting to find out what's going to happen. Everybody's got their ears to the ground and listening for whispers around the campfire.
Until the ban takes effect, BC remains a West Coast outlier, as all U.S. states from Alaska to California have already phased out open net pen fish farms. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A golden retriever puppy had to be rushed into emergency surgery to treat wounds from an ill-fitting harness. And a warning, some of these images may be hard to look at. The 6.5-month-old puppy, now named Airbud, was surrendered to the SPCA in Powell River 2 weeks ago. He was immediately taken to a vet hospital to surgically repair lesions from an embedded harness. The SPCA says this case is a good reminder to make sure your pet's harness fits properly. They say you should be able to comfortably fit 2 fingers between the harness and your dog's body. Airbud is now in foster care and is expected to be up for adoption once fully recovered. Vancouver's Pride Parade will go ahead as planned over the August long weekend with a new route. Organizers say they're facing significant financial challenges and hope the city steps up with funding. CTV's Martin McMahon has the story.
They're
There's nothing quite like Pride Weekend in Vancouver, with crowds for the parade often in the range of 100,000 plus. And despite facing major financial challenges, the Pride Society is assuring everyone the event is back for another year. It's also quelling speculation about whether it can stay afloat.
The City of Vancouver gives a permit, and the permit fee includes policing. And that number is going up. It's very expensive to be allowed to run a Pride event. Security and coordination is hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's really getting expensive.
Auger says corporate sponsorship has dropped, resulting in a loss of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
We've seen a drop of roughly 50% of corporate sponsorship. It's been related to the increasing level of polarization in politics, I think. And finally, we are entering a phase that's a little harder, right? Businesses are not thinking about largesse right now. They're thinking about just getting through the year.
She wants the city to do more to support the event. Vancouver City Councillor Peter Meisner says he's working with organizers to try to arrange a cultural grant.
I'm part of the community. It's really important to me, and also what the parade and festival stand for in terms of equity and diversity in our city.
This year, the parade will travel east-west, finishing near Davie Village. It comes after criticism over the west-east route, which meant the party wasn't as close to the west end.
There was feedback in the community that it was moving too far away from places that were core to our identities.
Given Pride's challenges, the organization plans to hold a series of roundtables and town halls in the fall to create a sustainable future. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
The new Mark V SkyTrain model officially rolled into service on the Expo line today. This will be the first of 47 new trains to be delivered by 2029. They will serve both the Expo and Millennium lines, including their upcoming expansions down Broadway and out to Langley. The new trains have 5 cars, adding 25% passenger capacity.
The new train cars add much needed capacity for people, for commuters, than the current trains have, which addresses the ridership demand that's growing in the years to come and really improving accessibility, very important for people here in Metro Vancouver.
TransLink is expecting a 20% increase in ridership on the Expo line over the next 5 years and 50% on the Millennium line during peak hours. An unusual car repair is in order for a Coquitlam resident after a black bear gave the car the wrong kind of attention. Also ahead.
Pulled out my knife and my bear spray and I started yelling.
Harrowing ordeal. A hiker stumbled to search and rescue 8 days after being stranded in the woods, surviving animals, a broken down car. When CTV News continues, stay with us. Now to a harrowing ordeal for an experienced hiker who was supposed to be on a 5-day hike to a popular waterfall in the Vancouver wilderness. Instead, his vehicle broke down in the middle of nowhere, and he found himself fending off a cougar and a bear. CTV's Andy Garland has his amazing story.
Come on! I just got attacked by a cougar.
It was getting ready to pounce on me.
Dylan Beaumier says a cougar was stalking him while he set up camp as he was making his hike down from Della Falls in Strathcona Park.
I pulled out my knife and my bear spray and I started yelling.
At first light, he made his way back to his vehicle on a remote logging road. And as he tried to drive back to civilization, his car broke down in the middle of nowhere.
The oil pan had struck a rock and it was bleeding out oil and it got stuck in the mud.
Knowing there's no help coming for possibly days, Dallin got to work, cutting sections of muffler and using 2 spare tires and some branches. He built a makeshift wagon to carry his essentials.
I've been doing search and rescue for 6 years, and I have never seen anyone with the ingenuity that he had.
If fighting off a cougar wasn't enough, Dallin also had a run-in with a black bear.
His face was looking at me right through the woods, and I was just like, hey, get going. It's over 30 degrees.
Battling the heat, Dallin finally made it back to the Della Falls trailhead at the end of Great Central Lake and boarded a water taxi.
He gave me a ride out for free back to Port Alberni.
Looking to recover some of the items he left behind, Dallin walked into the Alberni Valley Rescue Squad's hall, but little did he know, a search was underway for him.
First thing I asked him was just, what's your name? And when he said Dallin, I was like, we've been out looking for you.
Before Dallin's hike, he left a detailed trip plan and notified family members, if they didn't hear from him within 5 to 7 days, to contact the authorities.
A trip plan is probably the most vital piece of information that you can leave with someone.
The 5-day hike, which turned into an 8-day adventure, hasn't deterred Dallin from exploring the backcountry.
Nature always throws curveballs. Like, you think you know a lot, and every single time you go out, you get humbled.
But next time, he says, he'll bring a GPS. Andy Garland, CTV News, the Alberni Valley.
Someone in Coquitlam is going to have to bring their car into the shop after it got some unusual damage this week. This bear was caught crawling all over this Audi, probably leaving some good scratches with its claws. At one point, it even tried to take a bite out of it. To be fair, the car is kind of salmon colored.
And it kind of looks like a donut. You know,
maybe there was food inside and it's trying to figure out, how do I get in?
Maybe there was like a picnic basket in there. So just like Yogi Bear, he wanted to get inside there.
Yeah, he just couldn't crack the nut though.
That's unfortunate. I feel bad for the owner of that car though. Lots of damage there. All right, today, not too bad right now. We are enjoying mostly sunny skies after a cloudy start. It cleared up quite nicely. Here's a look at temperatures across the lower mainland. 20 at the harbor. You're looking at 23 in Burnaby right now, as well as in Surrey and Pitt Meadows and Chilliwack. Touch cooler in Abbotsford at 22 degrees. So a clear night overnight, dropping down to 14 degrees. Into tomorrow, we'll see mostly sunny skies, 24 degrees near the water, 27 degrees inland. UV index is 9 or very high.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
And we're going to add more sizzle to that sunshine coming up. I've got those details with the full forecast.
Yeah, we're really in summer,
We
right?
definitely are in it, yes.
Okay, thanks, Sam.
Welcome.
Daryl Fox was with his brother Terry Fox when he did the Marathon of Hope 45 years ago. Today, Daryl finished an emotional cross-country journey, and
I have a simple rule: spend less, invest more.
questions about how Ottawa will cut $25 billion a year from its budget, concern about major job losses, and how it'll impact services. That's ahead. Summer festival season continues with more than half a dozen street parties and similar gatherings planned across Metro Vancouver this weekend. We've got a full list of events to check out on our website, ctvnewsvancouver.ca. Government employees are bracing for layoffs as the Prime Minister looks to cut back on overall spending. Cabinet ministers have been asked to find a 7.5% savings for the next fiscal year. It has many concerned the cuts are doable, but not without consequences. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
I have a simple rule: spend less, invest more.
A new promotional video from the Prime Minister addressing what everyone in Ottawa is talking about, the call for big savings.
I will balance our operational budget in 3 years. We'll spend what we need to with the money we already have.
But neither Mark Carney nor his ministers are talking specifics about potential chopping block targets, with a new goal to save $25 billion annually within the next 3 years.
I'm pretty thorough, and I do my homework, and I'm going to do that before I have this type of conversation.
That $25 billion is a very large number.
The president of the Professional Institute of the Public Service of Canada wants to know more, worried about the possibility of cuts to jobs in Canada's meteorological service, warning of serious weather, for example, or food inspectors warning about food safety.
I'm really concerned that, it's not going to be just looking to find people through attrition. It's really going to cut deeply, and I think it really truly will affect service to Canadians.
So net,
the actual number of public servants might actually stay the same.
Sahir Khan of the Institute of Fiscal Studies and Democracy does not expect immediate mass layoffs or impacts to services. He says it's more about reallocation to the new government's new priorities.
You're going to see public servants kind of have to go where the money is. So if your area is kind of getting de-emphasized in defense, RCMP, other areas, CBSA are getting emphasized, the money and the jobs are going to go there.
The call to Cabinet to find savings only went out this week with an end of summer deadline. We'll have to wait until the fall budget to get some serious specifics. And even then, this budget may not tell the full story. It's likely to be a multi-year exercise. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ottawa is set to reimburse car dealers for electric vehicle rebates issued before the subsidy program was shut down in January.
Dealers paid out money to customers with the commitment to the Government of Canada that the dealers would then be reimbursed. This has been a 6-month hardship for small independent dealerships across the country that have been owed $11 million by Transport Canada.
Car dealers will now be allowed to submit any historical rebates that were paid to customers before the program was canceled. The fund was exhausted by millions in Tesla claims just 3 days after launching. A new rebate program that supports Canadian workers and domestic supply chains is reportedly in the works. Troubling charges against an Ontario teen accused of viciously attacking an 8-year-old girl. Also, emotional journey.
So to be on the other side really proved to me that what Terry did was incredible. I don't have words to describe it.
Terry Fox's brother completes his journey across the country, ending where the Marathon of Hope began 45 years ago. That's ahead. The death toll from flash flooding in central Texas is now confirmed at 120, and that number is expected to keep rising. More than 160 people are still missing, including 5 girls and a counselor from a summer camp along the Guadalupe River. Search teams continue their work around the clock, sifting through the wreckage. The property is destroyed, cabins have been leveled, and the office missing. The disaster marks the deadliest inland flooding in the U.S. since 1976. A 17-year-old boy is being charged with attempted murder and sexual assault after a young girl was found brutally attacked in Ontario.
Our community members are, how can this happen in our community? And how do we understand that we can move forward and make it better for our community?
The attack happened in Quadville, a small community outside of Ottawa. In late June, police responded to reports of a missing child. The 8-year-old girl was found hours later with life-threatening injuries. Police initially suspected her wounds may have been caused by an animal attack. Police have confirmed the victim is, quote, doing okay, but remains in hospital. We're learning new details about a police chase in Saskatoon yesterday that left a trail of damage in its wake.
We're just kind of passing the food bank, and I hear the big bang, like he shot at the truck, and like, holy smokes.
Police say during the 40-minute pursuit, a 32-year-old man driving a stolen truck hit several civilian vehicles and 2 cruisers. After several attempts to stop the suspect, including firing their guns, officers drove him off the road and took him into custody. Before the chase, police say the suspect assaulted a taxi driver, stole the cab, and robbed a convenience store. Retracing Terry Fox's Marathon of Hope. His brother Daryl finishes an emotional cross-country journey 45 years later. That's ahead. Wow. Terry Fox's brother Daryl's challenge of cycling across the country has come to the end of the road. We'll have that story right after Anne's forecast. But first, make sure to look to the skies tonight to catch a glimpse of the buck moon. July's full moon lines up with the summer antler growing season. This one is arriving 11 days earlier than last year, and it already reached its brightest this afternoon. Just after 1:30, you'll still be able to catch its glow tonight. Experts recommend finding a vantage point with minimal light pollution facing the eastern horizon. And of course, always to see the moon.
Yes.
You want clear skies, right?
And yes, and the clouds cleared up quite nicely just in time for the full moon tonight. We started off cloudy. Right now, we are seeing sunny skies out there, and this is how we fare today. It's a high of 21.6, slightly below the seasonal average of 22.4, but warmer overnight. And with yesterday's rain, we've seen 17 millimeters of rain. The seasonal average for the month is 34.1 millimeters. Ridge of high pressure building for the south coast and southern interior. Another system moving its way in for the north coast and central coast, bringing in a lot of rain. So here's how everything will play out. Soggy right now, and it'll continue through the overnight into tomorrow morning for your early morning commute. Staying dry for the south coast and southern interior, and it'll continue through the afternoon as well. For the north coast, you'll see anywhere between 30 to 40 millimeters of rain, with winds gusting to about 50 kilometers as we head through the afternoon. Slowly bringing some showers for the northern tip of Vancouver Island as well, with a high of 17 degrees. And you'll see periods of rain for the central coast as well. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. Looking at 26 degrees and mostly sunny skies for Campbell River and Comox. For the South Island, from Tofino right down to Victoria, you're looking a little bit of everything. Sunny breaks for Tofino at 19, partly cloudy skies, 30 degrees for Port Alberni, 24 for the Southern Gulf Islands. Nanaimo, you'll warm up to 27 degrees under sunny skies, 24 for Victoria. Mostly sunny skies for the Sunshine Coast with a high of 24 degrees. Slightly warmer up the Sea to Sky Highway, 25 for Whistler, 27 for Squamish, and for us across the Lower Mainland, we're looking at temperatures between 24 and 27 degrees as well. Heading into the weekend, Saturday, inland temperatures will reach 28 degrees. On Sunday, we'll see temperatures between 26 and 29, a slightly cooler for Monday under a mix of sun and cloud, but then we add the sizzle in. So Tuesday, inland temperatures will reach 32, 33 for Wednesday, and then on Thursday, we're looking at temperatures between 25 degrees near the water and 29 degrees inland. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So I hope your garden liked the rain yesterday, because we don't have any raindrops in sight for the next 7 days.
Yeah, I did enjoy not having to water the plants for a couple days, but we'll go back to pulling the hose out.
Yes, exactly. Probably for the weekend.
Yeah, okay. Very, very toasty forecast. All right. Thanks, Ann. Terry Fox's brother Daryl has reached the end of an emotional journey. He cycled more than 7,000 kilometers across the country, starting here in Vancouver and ending right where Terry began his marathon of hope 45 years ago. CTV's Garrett Barry reports.
For 1 month and 1 day, Daryl and a team of 7 other riders have traveled throughout the country, pushing through the hills and the heat from Vancouver to Thunder Bay to here, the end of the road in St. John's.
I always feel emotional. I've accepted that a long time ago, that, part of the healing process is showing emotion.
This is Daryl's biggest journey yet, retracing in reverse his older brother's footsteps.
I was tired in 1980 getting up every morning at 4:30, and I wasn't running a marathon a day on artificial leg. So to be on the other side really proved to me that what Terry did was incredible. I don't have words to describe it.
The fundraiser has taken in more than $1 million for the Terry Fox Foundation, hitting the group's fundraising goal.
I'll never forget one of the receptions in Toronto when it reached a peak, the Marathon of Hope reached a peak, and he was asked, what do you hope comes from all the support you're getting here today? And he said, more money.
Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
The first ever Birkin bag smashes a record. We'll tell you the jaw-dropping price it fetched at auction. Plus, Glenn's place. Adam finds out how a man facing adversity was inspired to pay it forward. Coming up on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's a preview of CTV Morning Live.
It's a list of risks as long as a foot-long hot dog. Is it time to give up processed meats for good? Friday on CTV Morning Live, what to avoid, as one study suggests there's no safe amount to eat. Also, do you know how to help someone if they're suffering from anaphylaxis? We'll get a step-by-step tutorial on how to use an EpiPen on yourself or someone else. Plus, some money-saving tips so you don't have a summer of spending. We'll see you in the morning.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live. Weekdays 6 to 9.
A Canadian soccer star is reportedly set to command a world record transfer fee.
Nice turn by Olivia Smith. She's still got it. Smith onto her left foot. Oh, it's a beauty! What a start!
Toronto's Olivia Smith is being transferred from Liverpool to defending European champion Arsenal for a record fee of £1 million. That's over 1.8 million Canadian. She'll be the first woman to break the £1 million milestone. Once the transfer is finalized, Smith will negotiate her own salary with the club. Remember Moo Dang, the baby pygmy hippo that captivated hearts around the world? She just turned 1. The Thailand zoo where Moo Dang frolicked to fame and earned herself 5 million social media followers gave the internet darling a special cake for the big day. It's actually just the first of 4 days of celebrations for the beloved hippo, who still attracts visitors from around the world.
So cute. I love Moo Dang because she always chooses chaos in life.
Yeah. She's a feisty one,
She
right?
sure is.
And she won't get any bigger than that.
No, how adorable is that? I want mine at home.
Somehow I don't think we're allowed to have pygmy hippos. Okay, well, the original Birkin bag bagged a huge price at a Paris auction today. The original prototype of the Hermes Birkin bag went for 8.58 million euros. That's over 13 million Canadian. It was reportedly bought by a private collector in Japan. The bag was created specifically for singer, actress, and activist Jane Birkin in 1985. As the story goes, while on a plane, she met the CEO of Hermes, a company rooted in making horse saddles, and complained about her overstuffed bag. Hermes then fashioned a custom bag modeled after a style used to carry a saddle.
Wow.
$13 million
for a bag.
You're not going to use that bag, are you? You're going to keep it in a safe.
Better use that bag.
I don't think so.
13 million?
If someone robs you of that bag, that's just too valuable.
Yeah. Lock it to your body.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Mary, what's coming up tonight?
Mijang will have more on the Bailey McCourt story as her accused killer made his first court appearance today. And the family of Charlie Pollock is still waiting to hear from the province if new information presented to the health minister last week will be considered in overturning their decision to defund their daughter's treatments for her rare disease. Those stories and more coming up at 11:30. Mijang.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Finally, that's what Canadians do. Those 4 simple words proved to be life-changing for one BC man overwhelmed by adversity. As Adam explains now, thanks to the kindness of a stranger, he has hope for the future. On tonight's Sawatsky sign-off.
Well, it's not unusual to find people camping like this over the summer. Glenn is not.
Yeah, I've kind of had a weird life.
After being diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer,
That was pretty scary.
and being renovated from his home of 18 years,
At times I felt like quitting.
Glenn Edgeworth and his cats, Jack and Ollie, found themselves living in an RV along busy streets.
There's a big crack in the pavement, so all you hear all day, all night is tunk, 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 tunk.
After living like that for a year, Glenn received this notice prohibiting him from parking there, which meant he had nowhere else to go.
It was pretty devastating.
It made the news, and Glenn was featured in multiple media reports, which inspired a few people to offer parking spots at a price before one knocked on his door offering a place for free.
And I tried to give him $100, and he's like, "No, I don't need that."
When Glenn asked why, the man who wishes to remain anonymous answered with 4 words.
That's what Canadians do.
And this, it turns out, is not a campsite. This is Glenn's new home.
I was literally in tears over it.
While he struggled to fall asleep that first night because it was too quiet,
Because I was listening to the humming of my fridge. I haven't heard that in so long.
Glenn celebrated waking up the next morning to the sounds of so many new neighbors.
Birds chirping.
And this deer, he's named Bambi.
What do you think he was saying to you? Welcome to the hood.
Where Jack and Ollie can sit safely outside, and Glenn can find solace.
And I'm really grateful for my own situation, but I don't see the story stopping here.
Once he gets settled, Glenn is hoping to pay it forward by using his phone to record others experiencing homelessness and sharing their stories on his YouTube channel.
Realizing other people's humanity.
And connect people who need help with those who can help.
And doing what Canadians do.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
That's a great story.
Wow.
What a spectacular location that he is able to live in.
Yeah.
And a wonderful gesture. This anonymous person doesn't want any accolades for it.
Amazing. And I love the motto. That's what Canadians do.
Yeah, and I love how viewers, when they respond to something like that, when they see someone in need, and it's great that this has all come together.
Yeah, and he's trying to connect people as well, those who need help and those who can help. So that's amazing. All right, something amazing as well. Look at this spectacular sunset on the Southern Gulf Islands. Thanks, John, for sending this gorgeous picture in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca.
Wow, it looks like a painting, doesn't it?
Doesn't look real.
So full moon tonight, the buck moon.
Yes,
right?
if you want to stay up for that.
Might be a bit late for me.
I'll be up.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.